Hey guys, welcome to ABC Cooking, where I'm going to show you the recipes I've learned growing up as an American-born Chinese. Today, I'm making pork and daikon soup. For this recipe, I'll be using pork spare ribs. Spare ribs come with all the good stuff that make a great soup. In addition to the meat and fat, you get cartilage and bones, which make your soup super flavorful. My spare ribs have already been cut up into about 1-inch cubes by the butcher. Of course, you can use whatever size you want, but make sure to adjust the cooking time as needed. First, I'm going to cut up some garlic, green onions, and ginger. I use these 3 aromatic vegetables all the time in my cooking, especially when I'm braising or boiling meat. Now, on high heat, I'm going to bring a pot of fresh cold water to a boil. To make a really nice flavorful broth, I'm going to be using 8 cups of water to 2 pounds of pork ribs. So once your water has come to a boil, add in your pork spare ribs and aromatic vegetables. Oh, and don't forget to add some rice cooking wine. For the first 10 to 15 minutes, cook the pork at a strong boil so all the blood and scum and stuff we don't want will float to the top. Then skim the scum with a fine mesh strainer. Once all the gunk has been removed, put the lid back on and reduce your heat until the soup is at a strong simmer. Let the ribs simmer for about an hour, and in the meantime we can start working on the daikon. Daikon is the Japanese name for this Asian white radish and is the name that most Americans know it by. In Chinese, daikon is called bai luo bo, which literally translates to white carrot. Daikon is already delicious when it's just eaten raw, but it's amazing in soups. The daikon just soaks up all of that flavor from the broth, and in return, the water that the daikon releases when it's cooked adds a great flavor to the soup. Trim off the root and stem ends, and then cut the daikon into about 3-inch rounds. Now I'm going to peel the daikon with my knife. You can use a vegetable peeler, but I'm already using the knife. To peel with your knife, just slide it in under the skin and then rotate the daikon towards your knife until you've gone all the way around and all the skin has been peeled off. If you're not confident enough with your knife skills, then just use the vegetable peeler. Remember, when you're cooking, safety comes first. Next, I'm going to cut the daikon into smaller pieces to match the size of the pork spare ribs. Instead of cutting the daikon into cubes, I'm going to be cutting it into triangular pieces. For some reason, pointy food just looks better. To do this, take each daikon round and cut it in half. Then take each half and cut them into triangular pieces. Cut the corners of your daikon half off, and then depending on the size of the remaining piece, cut that piece into 2 to 3 more triangular pieces. Then set the daikon aside on a plate. After about an hour of cooking, the pork ribs should start getting tender. You should be able to poke a chopstick through it relatively easily, but you don't want the meat to be so soft that the pork will just slide right off the chopstick immediately. At this point, it's time to add the daikon. I'm also going to add some salt to taste. Now bring your soup back to a strong simmer and put the lid on. Then let the daikon cook for about 45 minutes. Once everything is done cooking, the pork ribs should be tender enough where you can poke it with a chopstick and then it should just slowly slide off. The daikon should be soft and completely translucent, and if you poke it with a chopstick, it should just plop right off. You can enjoy this soup several different ways. You could just have it by itself as a side dish, or you could add some carbs to make it a main dish. My favorite way of enjoying this soup is by adding noodles to make noodle soup. If you're going to enjoy this as noodle soup, add your noodles to your bowl, ladle over some hot broth, and top it off with some daikon and ribs. Then garnish it with some chopped green onions. Now let's dig in. The pork ribs are nice and tender thanks to being cooked for a long time and their fat content. The daikon is super soft and just melt in your mouth delicious. And the soup is nice and comforting and full of flavor thanks to the cartilage, bones, and daikon. If you've never had daikon before, you should definitely try it out. In addition to being delicious, it's super cheap. I've never seen it more than 99 cents per pound, and when it's on sale, Sometimes it can be as cheap as 38 cents per pound, which is amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, if you follow me, cooking can be easy as ABC. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!